I can still hear it. The sound of their laughter, the click of heels, the clink of champagne glasses. They thought they were celebrating, and I was the punchline? It was supposed to be my promotion, but instead I got the door slammed in my face. They denied me, and I let them watch as I took over anyway. Can you imagine the nerve? After everything I did for that company, they handed the promotion to someone else, someone who had barely been there a year. The audacity, right? But you know what? I didn't lose my cool. I didn't storm out like they expected me to. No, I let them think I was defeated. They didn't know what was coming. But before I get into how I made them watch me rise, let me take you back to the beginning. The moment when I found out they decided I wasn't good enough to lead, even though I'd been the one carrying the weight of the office for months. It was a Wednesday. I remember it like it was yesterday. Bright, sunny day in San Diego where the ocean breeze is supposed to help you breathe easy. But not that day. I was walking into the office like I did every morning, carrying my latte from the local cafe, already mentally preparing for the workload ahead. I had been working my tail off, overtime, handling angry clients, staying late to make sure everything was perfect. And what did I get for all my effort? We've decided to go in a different direction, Mia. I was speechless for a second. Not because I was shocked, but because I was trying to hold it together. I couldn't let them see how hurt I was. Kyle, the new guy, who just so happened to have a few more connections than I did, was sitting across from me. He was smug as ever, sipping on his coffee like he had just won a prize he didn't deserve. And then came the words. We think you're better suited for a different role. Different role? I was this close to being in charge, and they were handing it off to Mr. Networker, who could barely string a sentence together without mentioning his family connections. At that moment, something inside me clicked. I could have made a scene. I could have gone off, walked out of there with my head held high. But I didn't. Instead, I did the opposite. I let them think they had won. It's not like I was going to just let this go, right? I mean, who could? I was the one who had been there through thick and thin. The late nights, the emails that went unanswered for days. I had made that department run, and they were just going to toss me aside like last season's fashion? Hell, I'd given up so much of my personal life for this place. My relationship had been on the rocks for months because of it. I was too committed, too obsessed with proving myself, and what did it get me? Nothing. So, I waited. I went back to my desk, the one that used to be mine, and I started plotting. You see, I had a plan, and it wasn't just about getting even. Oh, no, it was about making them watch me take what should have been mine in the first place. The next few weeks were a game of subtle sabotage. I had already been in charge of a few smaller projects, so I knew exactly how to position myself. I started gathering all the little pieces of the puzzle, strategic meetings, key players, and most importantly, the one thing they'd overlooked, the company's weaknesses. Their one vulnerability, the thing that would make them look foolish if exposed. And it was all there for the taking. But I couldn't do it yet. I had to wait for the right moment. By the time the next quarterly meeting came around, I had everything in place. Kyle, the new boss, was ready to take the spotlight, thinking that all the praise he was getting meant he had truly earned it. But I knew better. He was a puppet, and I was going to pull the strings. As the meeting began, I took my usual seat at the back, arms crossed, playing the role of the quiet, resigned employee. But inside, I was scheming, watching Kyle drone on about things he didn't even fully understand. His voice was like nails on a chalkboard. And then it happened. He made a major mistake. He'd presented data that wasn't verified in front of the entire board. Not a small mistake, no. It was a huge one. And I had the correct numbers ready to go. All I had to do was point it out. I stood up, casually, like it was no big deal. Actually, Kyle, I think those numbers are off. The room went quiet. You could feel the tension build like electricity in the air. I saw Kyle's face pale. He tried to backpedal, stammering through some nonsense about miscommunication, but I could see the cracks in his facade. The higher-ups were already losing faith in him. And me? I was just getting started. Over the next month, I kept working my magic. I wasn't just fixing things. No, I was proving that I could do what Kyle couldn't. While he fumbled through every presentation and every decision, I was quietly gathering support from those around me. People were talking. People were noticing. And while Kyle played the part of the new boss, I was already proving I was the real one behind the curtain. Then, one day, it happened. I got a call from the higher-ups. They wanted to talk to me. They had heard about my successes behind the scenes, and they wanted me to take over Kyle's responsibilities. He was being moved to a different department, their words, not mine. They didn't have to tell me twice. I walked into that meeting with my head held high, my confidence oozing with every step. They were practically begging me to take over. And of course, I said yes, but not without a little extra flair. I had been patient, I had been subtle, but now it was time to finally take over. And as I walked into the office, I caught a glimpse of Kyle. He was sitting in his office watching me like a deer caught in the headlights. It was almost too perfect. I didn't just take the promotion, I ran with it. I started making changes immediately. The first thing I did, I took over Kyle's office. I moved his things out and had my own desk set up in the corner. I knew it would drive him nuts. But what did he do? He just sat there looking defeated. He didn't even put up a fight. It was like he knew deep down that I had already won. And the best part, I watched from my new office as he sat there trying to salvage what little dignity he had left, but there was nothing he could do. He had been exposed for the fraud he was, and now I was the one running the show. It wasn't just about the promotion anymore. It was about proving a point, about showing them that I wasn't just the girl who did all the work. No, I was the one who was going to take over, and they could only sit back and watch. So what do you think? Was my revenge too petty, or was it the justice I deserved? Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious to hear what you'd do in a similar situation. And don't forget to hit that like button if you love the story and subscribe for more jaw-dropping tales of betrayal, revenge, and sweet, sweet karma. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next.